and forth, back and forth, we go. Back 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 and forth, back and forth.
Now you won't catch me going back and forth unless it's to and from the bank. I never do back and forth with a hate mad nigga or a bitch who said I can't. I smoke loud, the strongest dank. It's up with me, what the fuck you think? Drip too hard, they all gon' drown. The nigga try me, he walk the plank. Chef Boyardee with the cook up. If you think shit sweet, nigga, good luck. I be all in the mix like potluck. Kettle corn, believe I pop up. Bubble rap nigga mad wanna pop us. Go hard, the shit too easy. If it ain't about cash, fuck that back and forth, cause it don't please me.
Back and forth, we go. Back and forth, back and forth, we go. Back and forth.
Ain't no tennis court around this way, little mama. I don't do that back and forth shit. That move. Dig this. Why would I go back and forth with niggas broke and hella jealous? Why would I go back and forth with bitches wrong and overzealous? So you out here running your mouth like we connect. That's how you tell it. Only time we back and forth is when I'm in it out your pelvis. Why would I back and forth with a cat bad nigga who just ain't built like that? Why would I back and forth when I'm knowing off top his top, I peel that back? Why would I put myself on a low nigga level? Bitch, I wish I would. And why would I back and forth when they all about drama and I just keep shit hood?
Back and forth, we go. Back and forth, back and forth, we go. Back and forth.
Baby, I don't back and forth over that mediocre shit. I ain't even that athletic, really. We be back and forth on the road, back and forth doing shows, back and forth switching gold, back and forth switching hoes. Solid niggas never fold. Back and forth to the trap, back and forth switching straps. You can miss me with that acting. They be trying to catch me lacking, but it won't happen. UPS a nigga packing. Ayy, don't back and forth if it's irrelevant. They know I'm a threat and it's evident. Got your bitch showing me her measurement. Only real niggas at my residence. Yeah, it's up and it's stuck like it's supposed to be. About to bag a bitch like some groceries. Now he mad, she wanna get close to me, cause she know I don't do all that.
Back and forth, we go. Back and forth, back and forth, we go. Back.
Only time I ever go back and forth about my motherfucking paper. It's my money and I need that shit now. You dig? I don't back and forth like ping pong. That shit there just too extra. I don't do that back and forth with a nigga who down bad and I'm next up. Like a bodybuilder, I flex up. Made a hobby out of running checks up. No condiments need to catch up. Do it big like I'm from Texas. Go back and forth, I doubt it. I hustle, stack it, then count it. Better boss up with your bitch ass, big red nose. He clowning. That money boosted my ego. I'm going crazy like CeeLo. Try to play with me, I go Devo. Never go back and forth with the zero, nigga.
Welcome to another episode of MZ Talks to WNBA. Oh, wait a minute. Make sure they can hear us here. Testing 1 2, testing 1 2. That's right. Tonight was a night of basketball in the WNBA. It was some great ball playing tonight. The Fever and the Lynx locked horns. And when I say that was a good, outstanding game from start to finish, man, what can I say? The Fever came out. They scored the first. They opened up the game with the first couple of baskets of the game, and the Lynx started off cold right out the gate. But that is not how the game continued and flowed through. Caitlyn Clark was simply the same Caitlyn Clark. What do you expect? She got the ball up and down the court. She hit her jump shots. She made outstanding passes. She did have a couple of turnovers throughout the game. They made a nice little run during the beginning to get things going. As I said, Minnesota didn't score their first 2 points until like 7 minutes and 42 seconds in the first half. And Mitchell, number 0, oh my gosh, very quick stop and go guard with a hell of a jump shot for the Fever. She is somebody that you should highlight. She can get to the basket, man. I mean, get to the basket unimpeded, it seems like almost. Goes up left-handed, right-handed. She has floaters. She also has a jumper. And once she gets going, gets cooking, gets bubbling, gets boiling, and she gets the jump, shooting off that jumper, and she strikes a pose all into it. Yes, I'm talking about good basketball coming through. This Fever team, dare I say, that they have their spot locked in the playoffs now. What we need to be looking at is virtually who they might be facing as the playoffs start to break down. because once they get rolling and everybody gets to clicking and the team gets to feeling each other, everybody's feeling each other, man, their basketball looks tremendous. They was playing good defense and doing stuff like that. Big Boston. I call her Big Boston, man. She's a powerhouse in the paint for the Fever. She runs up and down the floor on offense and defense. She was the recipient of catching a lot of open passes because she was breaking on the court like she was supposed to, getting down court, running down court where she can get a pass, easy layup. Man, the way she gets down in the paint, big body, power dribble. She spreads those elbows out when she pivots to go up with the ball to clear out space for herself. What can you say about it except great ball? Collier, number 24, nice jump shot. She was doing her thing for Minnesota. She got loose. She got jump shots. She handled the ball pretty decently, very lively around the basket, doesn't let the ball bounce too many times after the shots go up. She's on point, has good awareness of where the ball might be going. Played good defense. She knows how to put her hands up instead of and challenge the shot instead of leaning over, reaching to the other players, trying to get the shot, keeping herself out of foul trouble. And like I said, she's also a good threat from at least the 3-point line. And I say at least the 3-point line because she showed that she can get the job done from out there. I'd say that Caitlyn Clark, I know her fans are looking at it. I'm trying to give as much props as I can. Right now, she's leading the W. I don't even have to go through the other letters. She's leading the W right now. She's the assist leader, and I think she's averaging like 8.6 a game. She had three assists in the first quarter of her game against the Lynx, which turned out to be a great game for her. She ended up with like 19, 20 something points. She had a good scoring. I can't remember exactly how many points she had off throughout the whole game. But Minnesota proved themselves very well not to let themselves get down. They kept playing through whatever it was they were going through, the ups, the downs. It didn't matter. They were balling and they did what they were supposed to do on the court. They kept their energy up for the first part of the game. Minnesota just kept on balling regardless. They just kept chunking away. Blue-collar team, as you would like to say, they just kept doing it. With that being said, in the first half, Minnesota was down 45-50, but Minnesota finished the first half on a 5-0 run, which kind of gave look to what was getting ready to come in the second half of the game. They came back out, and instantly I can say that Minnesota stepped the defense up. That was one of the things they did. They started making sure that they stayed on the ball. They slid their feet. The coverage picked up better. When once one person moved, the other person stepped up like they were supposed to. The switching was happening at a pretty good rate. Minnesota pretty much just flipped the script on Indiana by coming out a lot more defensive, which caused Indiana to slightly start showing emotion and getting frustrated with some of their passes and, coming down the court, dribbling, things like that. But, they have a good team. They have a good core. Their rookie and Caitlyn Clark seems to be what's going to turn out to be a great leader comes down the line as the time goes on this basketball team. Once the second half started, though, we got to see some things that came to play, like one, Minnesota, which I don't think a lot of people talk about. Minnesota is the number one assist leading team in the W because they believe in making the extra pass. They made the extra pass so many times, once, 2, 3 times around the horn, or went down in the paint, shot back up, and then went around the horn. They passed the ball at some points a minimum of four passes before the shot went up. So not only did they pass the ball around, but it also helps in the game. It chews up a little clock as you're playing because you're passing the ball, you're burning up clock. Then they put the ball up, and they were making the baskets. And this caught Indiana off guard to me because before you know it, Indiana was on a 27-10 run. over. Not Indiana. Minnesota was on the 27-10 run over the Fever. Now, the Fever did show some resiliency, and they started playing a little more tight defense. They started going up and down the field. Big Boston started inserting herself a lot more in the paint and playing defense. She got some good shot blocks in and made things kind of balance out on some things. Courtney Williams, number 10, had some clutch moments within the fourth quarter. She actually hit a couple of much needed shots at the time they were needed. She hit a 3 off of a second chance shot. She wasn't, in my opinion, as far as Minnesota goes, she stayed calm. She brought the ball up and down the court. She didn't have, I think she maybe had if two turnovers. She my fault, Hyphy. Let me go ahead and put a leak out for you. If she had 2 turnovers, I'd be surprised. But she controlled the ball throughout the game, which also helped control the game, which that's what you really want and you need from your guards when it comes down to it, especially the guard that's handling the ball most of the time in the game. You guys give me a second. I got you, Hyphen. I'm sending it to her. Thanks for showing up. I see you in the out there. Let me find it real quick. Send that to you. Who else we had coming out there? Williams, like I said, Williams made a good showing of herself. Who was that? Carlton, number 6, hit a couple of corner threes in the fourth quarter, which was real clutch because it looked like Indiana was scrapping and scratching. They was trying to get into it. They were hanging around. But for the most part, Minnesota just seemed to be a little too set in making sure they ran their plays, very set in making sure they played defense and did what they were supposed to do. And that caused Indiana to take a few short steps, in my opinion, which caused them to take a loss in the game. But I understand that their spot in the playoffs is set. They don't have anything to worry about. I was saying that the Chicago game against the LA game would be a lot more. It's a lot more critical because Chicago has the same amount of wins as 2 of the teams that's in 9th and I believe 10th place. So you can call it. One of them has 1 more loss, but one of them has the same thing that Chicago has. And with that being said, Chicago needs to try to do whatever they need to do to get it locked down. I sent you a link, Hyphy. I put it in the Discord. Unless you want me to send it to the live. Oh, there you go. Let me bring him into the building. There he is, my basketball brother. What's going on, Hyphy? How you doing tonight? I know you caught the games because you and I were going back and forth on the phone about it. But what's going on with you, brother?
Yes. Friday evening dedicated to WNBA.
We can just call it the W like they do. We don't even have to put the
the W. Hey, besides, we don't want to be associated with those savages that play in that other league. So yeah, we're gonna call it the W. Good night to be able to watch the W on a Friday night. We had a double header. They had 3 games that started at the same time, and then they had 1 game that was the night game. That's usually how these games go for the W. But just good Friday night where you had you just had the names on this Friday. You had the names. You had also like the best players. I feel like you had the 2 best players in the league. You could possibly say the top 3 players in the league. And then you had the 2 that are the faces of the league, most would say.
I think you had a couple of the top scorers playing, at least 3 of the top scorers in one game playing tonight. And you had 3 of the better players in the other game tonight, which touted in the Fever and the Lynx and the Sky and the Spark. But I was just going over what I saw with the Fever and the Lynx and how that game played out. The Lynx never gave up. They just kept on balling. That's a blue-collar team. Carlton came through. I think that's her name. Number 6 hit a corner 3 that was real clutch, like in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
They needed that. I was just saying number 10 is Courtney Williams that plays for for Minnesota. When you look at her game, you have to respect her game. She's not a turnover machine. She brings the ball down. She makes the right passes. I see she was kind of struggling on her shot tonight. She just couldn't get it because once she gets it going, she can really burn you for some points right out the gate pretty good if she gets the shot going. It took her at least to the fourth quarter before she was even able to get into the scoring book. But I was really giving her game a big compliment for the simple reason she was able to handle the ball throughout the whole game, as close as the game was, even throughout the time when they were behind in the beginning. She never got perplexed, it seemed like. She never got down. She kept on working. She kept on making the right pass. And her team stayed close in it throughout.
Yeah, if I could add on to that, Courtney Williams, I'm really impressed with her transition this year because this is her first year with the Lynx, and she really plays shooting guard, but coming over to Minnesota, she is now playing point guard, and I'm sure you understand more than most of us. Transitioning to playing point guard is probably the hardest position to transition to if you didn't grow up playing. And it's one of those situations where this is the one team where she actually fits as a point guard. So I give her a lot of credit.
Okay, so you saying that she was a shooter at first. Her first role was think shot, then pass.
Actually, like position, like she was always a shooting guard.
She played. Okay, I feel what you're saying. For her to transfer over to being the person that's going to bring the ball up the court, start off the offense and everything like that. That is a different kind of pressure because you have to make sure, one, everybody's in the right spots. You have to make sure that you know what play is being called and you recognize that it's being ran once you call it, and being able to get the other players their shots in the right spots and getting them the ball in the right spots where they can get a good shot or make a good pass or make a move to do one or the other. So, I noticed that, in my opinion, her game looked pretty good to me. I appreciate it. Clark, like I said, Clark did end up doing her thing. It's most likely she's probably going to get the assist leader of the season this year. I don't know what they get for that, maybe a plaque or something, but she's probably going to be the top assist leader of the season because right now I think she's averaging like 8.6 a game. I didn't see how many she got at the end of this game, but if she keeps that up, yeah, she's going to be the top assist leader in the game. Big Boston, I call her Big Boston because she plays like a true big down in that paint. I noticed the way she power dribbles going to the paint. She uses her body so well when going up to the basket, and she has at times she has such a nice touch where she slides it right off the backboard, so smooth that it goes in so easy with hardly a bounce around on the basket. But she can be strong. I like the way she puts her elbows out and opens up big when she turns in the paint and gives herself room to get them up off of her. You got to open up to get them off of you. Doing a couple of up and unders, but for the most part, she just powered her way through the game, made a couple of good shots, 5-6 feet away from the basket, and did a thing to help get her team. Am I tripping? Am I saying the wrong person? To make sure she helped her get her team into where they need to be. Big ups to Minnesota, man. Minnesota played a hell of a game, especially the second half. They played a good first half, but the second half, they picked their defense up. They shuffled their feet and slid like they needed to. They were all over the court. They were defending, putting their hands up, touching, putting their hands on some of the passes that were not crisp enough. They were just playing disruptive ball in the second half. And I think they kind of shook the fever up a little bit.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Look, the beginning of the game, the first quarter, I felt like the Fever got off to a hot start on them. they were they was like just like really pushing a offense on the Lynx, and it's like the Lynx hadn't adjusted to them. They were getting real good shots. They was just playing better than the Lynx. Their offense was just way too hot. Then I feel like in the first half it was like the Lynx, every offensive possession they had, they was doing some flashy stuff. Like everything looked real good. Even the shots that wasn't going in, it's like everything was just real good looking. Whereas the Lynx, they was just playing like effective offense. As long as they scoring the points, they was like good, and they was able to keep the score. They never got out of like a 10-point gap. So towards the end of the second half, the Lynx, they went on like a 7-0 run, and then halftime comes. Next thing you know, they start the second half, and they just picked up off that because they were down by they went on like a 5-0 run at the end of the first half, but they were still down by like 5. And then in the second half, they really closed the gap.
Oh shit! I thought I was answering you up. They were down 45-50 when halftime came. Indiana was up by 5, and Minnesota did go on a 5-0 run in the right at the end of the second quarter. They went on a 5-0 run. Salute to H Money in the house. Hashtag Money MOB Mob. He said Asia Wilson the GOAT. Asia Wilson is something to be. She is something to be spoken about. As a matter of fact, her and Indiana, or should I say Caitlyn Clark and Indiana, will be matching up next week, I think, won't they? I was asking you, I think they supposed to be matching up next week. I can't hear you, my brother. But salute anyway to H Money. I appreciate you stopping through. Caitlyn Clark, Rookie of the Year. Now, with the Caitlyn Clark Rookie of the Year, I have no argument about that at all. I can agree with that. She's making a great argument right now.
Peace to H Money.
I didn't know what happened to you. Right now, I can cast my vote to say Caitlyn Clark is in the lead for Rookie of the Year. And to give you your props, Hyphy, I was checking out Gil's Arena. And last week, you said on our show, before the air show aired, that Caitlyn Clark, in your opinion, was a mixture of what two players? I want you to want the words come out your mouth.
Okay. And even I gotta be corrected because first I was saying Steve Nash. Then I said, because everybody else would say Curry. But then I said, you know what? She definitely got she 40% Curry. But shoot, sometimes she looked 70% Curry. But yeah, definitely a mixture of I think she maybe, came up definitely watching Steve Nash as well as Curry.
Right. Well, you did say that she was, in your opinion, if you had to say, she was a hybrid between Curry and Nash. And lo and behold, I tell you, I'm listening to Gil's Arena, and the gentleman that was on there that goes back and forth with Gil a lot of times in their conversation used those words. And when he said it, the first thing I thought about was you, my brother. I was like, damn, Hyphy just said that. Could it be that his words had rang loud and somebody heard him? I just wanted to give you that prop and let you know that not only did you do you look at Caitlyn Clark as a mixture, but somebody else do too that has ties with the NBA. So good for you with the eye of what kind of talent you would bless up on that young lady. I can say I think Caitlyn Clark is a lot stronger than people are giving her credit for. Yeah, she takes some hard fouls and everything like that, but I noticed she seems to be quite well adept when she went to the hole tonight. She was going to the hole, and she was going to the hole strong. She used that off arm, not so much as to push off, but she uses it enough that she can keep space between her and the defender while she's on the move. I can't say enough about the team that she got placed on. Could it be that we can look at this rookie? This rookie could end up in the playoffs where she has locked down a spot with her team. I won't just say her, because I think she could still be as good like she is, but her supporting cast or the cast that is around her are very complimentary. And I mean, from she's the number one spot, so 2, 3, 4, and 5 compliment her greatly. I mean, every position, everybody's paying attention to the passes that are coming. She made some nice passes tonight, especially one on the fast break where she held the ball to the last second until she drew the defender on her, where she can drop it off right. Why? I can't. I think it was Boston. Was it Boston going to the hole? Big Boston going to the hole. She dropped it down right in the pocket where she can just go straight up with it and lay it up. To me, that was great basketball, to be able to hold the ball, to make the defender have to make a decision. Even if it was at the last second, she still made the great play. She got a little flashy. Her and Williams, I believe it was, maybe miscommunication. Caitlyn got the ball. Yeah, and she was going she was driving down toward the baseline corner, and she flipped the ball out, thinking that I think it was Williams which should have been going to the hole. It would have been a beautiful pass. Could have been a nice finish or a foul or both. She just didn't go to the hole and ended up being thrown away.
Yeah, I remember that exact play you're talking about. Yeah, the Kelsey Mitchell. It was just one of them mishaps. Yeah, so in that second half, the Lynx, they just stood together. You know, they kept playing as a team, and as they closed the gap, because they got going offensively, you know, going through Nafisa Collier. And, you know, I'm glad you was able to see her tonight, but going through her, you know, they got hot. Courtney Williams, you know, she started, you know, hitting shots, and just the rest of the team, they all start contributing.
Well, the beauty about their offense and their team to me is the fact that I spoke on, they are the assist leading team. Nobody gets more assists than that team as a whole. And because they are willing to make the extra pass, it gets your defense. It has them to have to move around a lot. And you end up getting somebody making a slow movement or getting off of a switch not fast enough, which seemed to be the case tonight because they made the extra passes. I mean, one extra pass they made was it went around the top of the horn and went up to the free throw line right corner. Soon as it went to the free throw line, Big Boston, I call her Big Boston. I just like calling her that. No disrespect. It don't mean she big body. You know, I just call her because she play like a big. So for those who won't hear me saying Big Boston, that's what I mean. Soon as she stepped up to protect at the free throw line, old girl just I think it's what's her name? It starts with Carol or something like that. That's Collier. Collier, I think.
Yeah, that's my player.
Yeah, soon as Boston stepped out the paint, she flipped it down right in the paint. Old girl stepped right in the spot and went up with it. That's great basketball. A lot of coaches love to see, and they preach, make the extra pass. Make the extra pass. Make the defense have to work. They might be willing to work for the first 3 passes, but that 4th pass threw them off every time. Great basketball by Minnesota. And I think that's one of the keys and one of the things to help them get over the hump. Not to mention, they did step their defense up, man. Collier got a couple of blocks in throughout the game, especially in some clutch moments. And she took a charge that they tried to say was a blocking, but she was at least 2 feet away from the zone area that's up under the basket, the little half circle. She was at least 2 feet away from there. So, and she had her feet planted, hands straight up. She wasn't leaning left to right. She took the contact, went to the floor, got a charge. That was big by her. Little moves, little things like that within the game. People willing to give up their body to stop a basket, playing defense, moving your feet, hitting swiping at the passes when they're not crisp passes, knocking them off of their trajectory and everything. Just great basketball by Minnesota Lynx, and congratulations to them because they got a well-earned and deserved win.
Hey, MZ, yeah, she Collier, she did like the defensive player of the year in most people's opinion. And tonight, you know, most of the time she was guarding Aaliyah Boston because she was like kind of restricted to the paint, even though she's a power forward. But you know, that's because her defense is so good. But she had to guard Aaliyah Boston, who is she has a 4-inch height advantage and a 50-pound weight advantage over her. And, that's who she had to guard tonight. And, she did that and got 10 rebounds.
Yeah, that's she did her thing. That's what you call getting gritty and grimy with it. We got Yasser in the house. Salute MZ and Hyphy. What's going on, Yasser? We just sitting here talking about the W right now. And the teams that's doing their thing. Indiana, the Fever failed to the Lynx tonight, but not in what you would call by any fault of Indiana. The Lynx just played hard basketball and they pushed through all the way through the end. When Indiana came out hot, they just kept on plugging away at it. They kept shooting. They didn't let the fact that they were missing bother them, and they stayed in the game. They kept hanging around until they could make a move. And once they made the move, like I said, I think they went on. What got them the move was second half. They came out, busted open, and took off on a 27-10 lead run, which put them up, I think, by 12 points or something like that. And Indiana just, they got close, but they just couldn't get over the hump. So congratulations to the Lynx because they played some hell of a ball tonight. Hell of a ball.
Yeah. Hey, in the second half, like especially that third quarter, how the Lynx, they start beating on them too. They start passing and moving that ball across the court the same way that the Fever do. They start beating the Fever at their own game. And I think, I'm unsure what the third quarter swing was, but it would have to be somewhere in the teens, of course. But yeah, they start beating them at their own game, moving that ball and stuff, just playing team ball. They outplayed the Fever at their own game.
Yeah, because they were really they ran. You know what I'm saying? One of the things that you always preach in basketball, you have to continually run. Don't let the offensive players get behind you where they can just end up doing whatever it is they want to do. He said, I'm waiting on this Haggerty versus Super League Muay Thai super fight. It's the equivalent of Earl versus Bud in the kickboxing world. Oh, okay. Is that something that we can cover too? We're going to have to look at that and see if we can't see something about it that we super like. I'm willing to do that. I'm going to keep an eye on that, Hyphy. I mean, not Hyphy. Yasser. Appreciate that. With the man back there with all the money. I can't remember his name. What's his name? Calvin? What's that dude's name? It don't matter. Anyway, back to you, Hyphy. Minnesota did their thing. One thing I need to ask you is Minnesota in the playoffs?
Yeah.
Did they secure a spot?
Oh yeah, they got the third best record. So they record is better than even like the Las Vegas Aces. Yeah, they got the third best record, and ever since the Olympics ended last month, them and Indiana have been the two hottest teams. They've been playing the best basketball. So yeah, this was like the two teams that's just really, really like hot and playing their best basketball. This is it.
Okay. Yeah, so letting us know that it's about to start. It's the 1FC main event. Okay, keep me posted on how it go down, yes. It's something that I wanted to speak on. With Caitlyn Clark, just going over the situation, how a lot of people had raised issue about her not being on the Olympic team, right? But by her not getting on the Olympic team, they gave her time, which I didn't realize until I heard Gilbert Arenas speaking about it. That gave her and her team enough time to practice a little bit more, to gel, to see what it is that each player likes to do in what situations. If I'm coming like this, what do you like to do? How do you like to pass? How do you know? Things like that really come into play when you're in the game, because once you see a person do a certain thing, you know how to feed them the ball if they're a big man. Or, if you see your guard coming off of a pick, or whichever player it is coming off of a pick, going into the spot where they're going to take a shot, you know how you've practiced enough where you can get them the ball where they like to catch it in the pocket, where they can turn and shoot. So this might be a blessing in disguise that Caitlyn Clark didn't make the Olympic team for the Fever. But as far as the fans go right now, which would you rather see Caitlyn Clark do? Go to the Olympics, come back and her team are still trying to figure out how to gel completely and end up losing some games that maybe they shouldn't lose. And maybe she could end up winning the championship. I think the fans would be quite thrilled if that happened because she still has the prospect of doing that.
Yeah, let me add on to that. Not only did Caitlyn get snubbed, but that Kelsey Mitchell, she had made the 2020 Olympics, and she was definitely deserving of making this Olympic team if we was going to buy like the best players in the league, but she got snubbed from this team. So in a way that benefited them because now they had the whole team back at home just practicing. So yeah, thanks for snubbing Kelsey Mitchell. Y'all created a monster.
Yeah, I feel how you can say that. It's just something that you can look at. I don't know how she performed last year when she went to the last Olympics when she came back. I don't know how she performed when she came back, but is it a difference? Did she come back balling from the Olympics? Or or is she balling better now this year at this time that she didn't go to the Olympics?
Oh, she's better now because when she had went to the Olympics, she was like only in her, she's like in her third year, and she's gotten better as she's progressed. Kelsey Mitchell, she's prior to this year, Caitlyn getting there, she was a heart of their team, but she was almost like a Russell Westbrook when he was in Oklahoma by himself, literally trying to do everything and still not get into the playoffs or not advancing at all. Before that, they hadn't got to the playoffs at all. So now that Caitlyn Clark is here, it's actually forced Kelsey Mitchell to change her game because, just being honest, she was like she was a ball hog, and even like the beginning of this year, you can see she was a ball hog. It was just after the All-Star break where like she started, getting into the habit of passing the ball, accepting that she doesn't have to be the one to take the ball up, and she can get offense off ball. Like she's just learning that in her 7th year.
Okay, so what you're saying is she never early in her career she never saw a shot she didn't like.
Yeah, she was like a Russell Westbrook. But the only thing I'm gonna say is credit to her. As good as she is on offense, she's just as good on defense, and she'll always play defense as well. She's just one of them, like, yeah, she literally felt she had to do everything on a team, and that was her mentality. So this is a change for her also because, like I said, now she has a point guard who can actually set her up. So she's learning to, move, play off ball and all that. And her play hasn't dropped off.
That's a big thing. To touch on, we were speaking about how Minnesota started playing toward the end of the game, which really locked it up for them. Something that stuck out to me was the fact that Minnesota went into the bonus with at least 3 minutes and 20 seconds left on the clock, which meant every foul was a go to the free throw line. And they finished that game without sending Indiana to the line a bunch of times where Indiana could get free points to chew up that lead and make a comeback. So you got to give them real kudos to that because they were aware enough not to make stupid fouls, still capable of playing up in your face defense, contesting shots, not by just putting their hands up and stepping up at the shooters, not giving the shooters as much space as they had in the beginning of the shot. They were there when Clark made a little step back to take the jumper. That defender was that much closer than the first half. And to do all that, knowing that fouls would put you, if you fouled, you were automatically putting your people on the line. That was real big for them. You have to salute them for that, for being able to finish the fourth quarter strong like they did and not sending the Fever to the line, because we know the Fever got some good free throw shooters. That would have been very detrimental to them.
Yep. I think the Fever, I think they got caught slipping in that sequence also, like the last 3-4 minutes. They took Lexi Hull off the court because they were trying to play a little bit bigger, and I don't think that worked out in their favor. But, yeah, that was one thing I seen also. They took Lexi Hull off the court. But yeah, hold on.
Oh, he said, hold on.
Yeah. Nah, it was a motorcycle that passed down the street. I knew it was gonna be hella loud. But yeah, so they took her off the court. So I think that they got caught because she would have been better being in that game. So I think they got caught slipping on that substitution. But also I think in that third quarter when the Lynx had got the momentum shift and they start taking, I seen. It was times that I seen Kelsey Mitchell where she did get into that groove I just told you about of figuring, okay, I need to make something happen. So it was like she start basically trying to just create her own offense and just looking to score, like ball hogging. She got into that groove and that wasn't working. So it kind of stopped them from playing that team ball.
Yeah, well, you can't have a slip up like that once the playoffs start. I'm excited. I'm really excited that the playoffs are getting ready to start. And once I found out how they play and who gets to go to the championship game, that really just pushed it up, because when it comes down to say who's the champion with the setup they have, it's no argument about it. You should have the two best teams play each other, unless one of them make a horrible mistake and get themselves pushed out. I don't know. Did Chicago's win tonight solidify their spot, or do they still have to win a couple of more games to solidify their spot? Because I thought if they won tonight, that might have did it.
No, their spot is not solidified. Actually, I'm not sure if the Fever playoff spot is locked in, but if not,
I think number 7 is locked. I think they say number 7 is locked.
Yeah. Because they're number 6. The Fever are number 6.
Oh, they moved up a spot.
Yeah, they moved up a spot. But number 7 and 8 is still up for grabs. Chicago Sky being number 8. Now here's the thing: even though prior to tonight they had the same record as Atlanta Dream, they're winning the season series against the Atlanta Dream, so that's why they had the number 8 spot. Now, me personally, I do feel like they're gonna lock down that number 8 spot, because just as close as it is, the Atlanta Dream, like they're even more frustrating to watch than the Chicago Sky. And now Kennedy Carter is back. So, she's going to be a heart of that team moving forward. So I do think that they'll get that number 8 spot when all said and done.
Yeah, because I can honestly say watching Kennedy Carter tonight, it brings a whole different look to the Sky. Because now the defense has to worry about somebody that can actually penetrate and has the ability to score while penetrating through the defense. Also has the ability to see other players in open spots and get them the ball. She leads the league in scoring in fast breaks. So, we know she gets up and down the court. But when she gets, she's a different animal to deal with. When you don't have anybody on the court that can make plays, meaning make plays and get shots for themselves, then the defense can relax a little bit. But by her being out there, and you don't have to have a bunch of players that's like that. If you have some players that get to their spots and ready to pull the trigger like they're supposed to, then that one player is good enough to cause the team to have to work a little bit harder. And tonight, I think I saw that. I saw Angel Reese got a couple of easier baskets. She was a little more controlled tonight than she was when she played the Fever the other night. She went up with a little more control to herself. I still would like to see her play with a little more power. I don't like the fact that she makes herself a lot of times when she's in the paint so small before she goes up to try to score. You know what I mean? She seems to try to get low with the ball. I like the little scoop shot that she has, because she gets that up so quick and you don't even see where she shot it from. That's a good shot that she has for her. but I still want to see her tighten up on her moves and everything like that. But Kennedy Carter, great to see her back on the court doing her thing. And if I had to pin it on anybody saying that this would be a for sure help lock down the 8th spot for the Sky, who knows? They might get lucky. It could move to the 7th. I would have to say a lot of it would have to be asserted to Kennedy and her return to the game.
Yeah, she's definitely their most important player. Whether people want to accept that or not, she's their most important player and their best player. Overall, she could play on both sides of the floor well. She'll give you like 17. She's averaging 17 a night, so she'll give you like 17, 5, and 3. That's real good in a W. But if those nights, if you need her to hit a clutch shot, she's definitely not afraid to take the shot and very well might make that play. And you can count on her consistently on defense. You know what? She is like the perfect example of what we look at like the bad boy Pistons, her attitude and the way she plays. Cause you can see like she gets nasty on that floor. I mean, yeah, she will hit the ground. She will, make those hard defensive plays and stuff.
She sacrificed her body.
Yeah, she will stare down a player. Anytime it's any type of foul on anybody on the team. She's that bad boy Piston type. And I'm gonna think of who she remind me on the floor one day. But anywho, just that type of player. That's something that don't show up in the stats.
Right, hustle plays never show up on the stat book. Plays like that, those don't show up. But you always need a person on the team that's willing to be that, And it's not a quest of looking for somebody that you like. Can you do this? No, you will see that person when they get on the team. When you see them on the court, you just notice it about them. It's the way they play and how they carry themselves. That's just who they are. And some teams need it, some teams don't. It just depends. Some teams got teams that the harder you try to beat on them, the more they try to beat you down. So, do we have anything? Oh, what's her name? It's a point that I wanted to make about what's her name? Catherine? About her coming back to the Sky.
Oh, Kennedy.
Kennedy. While she was gone, I want to say it is Dee, but I don't think it's what's her name? Dee. Her name. I'm gonna call her Dee because her first name and her last name start with a D. I think it's her. They say that she started scoring an extra 5 points on top of the 11 that she was previously giving before Catherine. Damn, why am I not being able to remember this girl's name tonight? Kennedy. I don't know why I don't want to call her Kennedy. Kennedy Carter, while she was gone, old girl stepped her game up by 5 points, which moved her from scoring 11 to like 16. Now she's in the groove and she knows how to score. Now that Kennedy Carter is back, that's an extra 5 points that's coming back with that 17 that you're looking for from Kennedy, which is going to help the Sky in the long run, especially in doing the playoffs. If they gel together and everybody gets to playing ball and being in the positions where they need to be in. Angel Reese showed me tonight that she got some grit in her. She was boxing out and getting prepared. She worked hard for her rebounds tonight. So I can see why she has a lot of rebounds. I know people saying that they gave her a lot of garbage time, but this young lady has 400 plus rebounds already, and she did that in 36 games. I believe that's a record. But that. Come on, I gotta respect that. You know what I'm saying? I gotta respect that. And seeing her tonight, she banged against some pretty good inside girls, I think. But she worked hard to get her rebounds. Yes, we could say it was LA though, but everybody is playing. and she did a thing. Yeah, she had a harder time against Indiana, against the Fever, but come on, look at the Fever compared to the Sky right now. The Fever is a better team.
Oh
That's
yeah,
just
yeah,
my opinion.
yeah. She definitely got the rebound record in the season. Yeah, she has that already. Yeah, you're gonna have some people, even myself, I would at least acknowledge a lot of those rebounds do come off of her own misses. But I mean, hey, nonetheless, one thing we got to give her credit for, she will consistently rebound, and she does it on both ends. So definitely give her credit for that. Now, putting that aside, one thing I have noticed and I've been a little irritated about is during these games and just social media, they are constantly acknowledging all these types of records. For example, they'll say Caitlyn Clark is the first player ever to average 20 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists across 3 games. Like all these, little stats that they just constantly throwing out there. But nonetheless, you got some cold women that's playing right now. Yes, some records are going to be broken, and that stuff definitely has to be acknowledged.
Yeah, I can't get too mad at them for doing things like that, because when Klay Thompson went off and scored how many 3-pointers in so many points, I mean in so many quarters, that became a topic. If you do something spectacular within the game that nobody's done in a certain time span, because they keep records throughout the whole game of everything that's going on. You might not think it is, but it's going down, and the timekeeper, when a person hit at this point, this person hit this point at this time, who hit a 2, who hit a 3, who hit a free throw, who turned over the ball, who got a steal, who got a block. They mark down the time and everything that it happened. So if she was able to reel off 3 games in a row where she was able to do that with no other from now to the past, any of the greats has been able to do, then kudos to her and let her have it. That's how you build up. That's how you build up your argument for how good you were once you're out the game and people get to talk about you. What I am particularly grateful for about these young ladies that are balling now, and I wish a lot of the guys would get it in football, basketball, and boxing. These young ladies don't seem to really care what the retired players have to say, and for good reason. Nothing that they say affects the game. They're done. They're through writing their story. Everything that they have done is to be talked about and remembered from fans and what the history books say. Right now is your time. Do what you can do to become great, where people will be talking about you in the past. So don't let the critiques of the old guard get you down. Let it be what it is. Words and their opinions and their thoughts. You keep on playing your game and doing what you're supposed to do. That's for football, basketball, and boxing.
Yeah, facts. That's the best way to play. Not worrying about what the ones that came before you said. Um, there's a situation that's going on right now where Cheryl Swoops she hating hard on Caitlyn Clark. Uh, and I don't know if I even like share some of the stuff with you, but if I shared some of the stuff, you'd be like, oh yeah, she hating hard, ain't no doubt about it. But one thing we got to keep up in mind is, yeah, this specific league is kind of young, so it's kind of easier for records to be broken. But also, I feel like some of the women from the first era, they want to be acknowledged for being the pioneers and trendsetters of it. And I'm like, honestly, that's not right, because if other players come behind you that were better, like, you can't be mad at that. Just saying, oh, I was the first to do it, like, that's not enough.
Well, it should be, because, if you're the first to do something, no one can take that from you. All they can do is duplicate it. That's all they can do. Dr. J was proclaimed, he was the first person I seen attempt to jump from the free throw line. And up until Michael Jordan did it, he was, even though he might have stepped on the free throw line. You know what I mean? But he was the first to do it as far as people go. So if you're the first to do it, no one can take that from you. You know what I'm saying? So that's something that you can hang up and there's no argument to be made about it. A person can say, I did it too, but nothing. I did it first. It's not even a bother to me no more. I've completed that task already.
Okay,
that's how I think they should look.
I should have clarified when I say like did it first, because like don't get me wrong, Dr. J was cold. You know, it was some of those players that was cold, and there ain't no denying that. But there's some of these women, they feel like it's ones that wasn't like super duper cold, but it's like, hey, we were the first ones to like to kick off the league. You know, if it wasn't for us, y'all wouldn't even like be playing this league, having this sport or this league to play in.
I feel now with that, giving them their respect and everything. I feel that, but are they not giving them their respect?
No. It's not that they. Well, to me, the current players, it's not even a job to acknowledge them. But those players from the past, they're upset because now the sport is getting more attention, and the pay hasn't increased and stuff. And they're like, hey, where was that when we started?
Well, with every fledgling thing, the first time it gets started, you got to start off and see how it goes. There wasn't that many eyes on the W back in the day when Cheryl Swoops and all those guys were playing. Not like now. Now, young ladies really get a chance to see that they can do a lot more things. There are less ceilings that they can't accomplish because things haven't been accomplished. Yes, you guys may have started the league, maybe not made as much money as these young ladies, and that's okay. Because if you guys hadn't did it, how far along would they be now? So appreciate what you did on your own and something like that. At some point or another, the world will realize, the sporting world will realize and make enough noise for those ladies. They got Hall of Famers and everything. Ain't nobody forgot about Cynthia Cooper or Cheryl Swoops. Nobody forgot about these ladies. That they not whispers in the dark. These are outstanding athletes that did their thing. Because Cheryl Swoop is critical of Caitlyn Clark for whatever reason, I think she should be able to be critical of Caitlyn Clark for whatever her reasons are. And I understand that she got removed from doing a broadcasting. But if we're gonna be fair, across the board when it comes to sports and our athletes, this means the women and the men. The women got to be able to get critiqued just like the men get critiqued. Stephen A. Smith and what's his name? Skip Bayless and so many other people, they used to tear down LeBron and other players just because, they felt a certain way. Some players got love and some players didn't. These ladies, they part of the fan base in the world. They're being watched. They should be able to get scrutinized. I don't think she should have got fired if she didn't say anything derogatory or anything like that against her. Did she do anything like that?
Okay, yeah. See, that's why I said I'm gonna have to just send you some stuff behind the scenes, because I understand what you're using critique, but what I'm talking about, this ain't no critiquing. This is pure hating. And I'm gonna just give you an example. One of her former teammates from the past, Cheryl Swoops, I'm talking about. One of her former teammates came out and basically said they're not friends anymore. Cheryl Swoops hasn't responded to her text because they had some disagreements via text about Caitlyn Clark. And the lady, she told Cheryl Swoops, okay, you just hating too much. And Swoops didn't like that. She replied, and she was like, yeah, our friendship ended.
Wow. Over because of who you like as a player right now?
No, not because of who you like, because of just how much hating you doing on one specific player.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. You losing a friend because of your opinion of a player. Speaking of Swoops, without calling it hate, it's what I'm trying to do. Not trying to use such a harsh word.
Now, I want to now. I know this is for the W. I just want to ask you one question though. Did you hear about Shaquille O'Neal? He had some hard criticism for Rudy Gobert, something like similar like this.
Yeah, he used to give Gobert a hard time and call him soft and a lot of stuff. Just like it was another player that he had did Shaq and a fool about a lot.
Yeah, JaVale McGee.
Right. I get it. But okay, so what's the difference between what he was doing and what Shaq was doing and what Cheryl's doing? Shaq actually had a show where he put you on there and embarrassed you for mistakes you made in the game.
I'd ask you that question because he just did it again. He said he was basically saying that guy is like his contract is like the worst contract in the NBA, and he is like, I just hate like seeing him play because like he's so big, but he just like he does everything wrong around the rim. But I would say Shaq and the Fool, at least they kind of like made some comedy out of it. I will give them that.
Yeah, but we in the long run of it, he was still doing the same thing. Now, his critiquing on Gobert, talking about he's so big and he do everything wrong at the paint. Well, Shaq is a big dude. He's probably going about what he could do in the paint and how he reacted to paint. And he's looking at Gobert like, dude, you one of the biggest dudes in the league. You should pretty much be unstoppable. And you're not. Why? He's making complaints, in my opinion, looking at it like that. Damn, dude, how you gonna be this big and you ain't handling your business? But yeah, I feel what you're saying. And back to the W, that's why I like the W so much. Because one, the girls, when you really look at them, they are pretty much all the same size. You got a few of them that hit the 6'6" mark, 6'7" mark, and up. But for the main part, they're averaging what 6'5" to 6 foot even.
Yeah, I would say your power forward and center, they're likely like your power forward is going to be about 6 feet. Your center will be above that, but your 3-2-1, yeah, they're going to be under 6 feet. And so I like seeing that because it's like all these girls, they're they're like they can move, they can move around the court. They kind of like kind of good and quick on their feet and stuff.
Right. And the beauty of it is like your big girls, your skyscrapers as they call them in Chicago, Angel Reed 6'3", and the other girls 6'3", 6'4", something like that. They learn how to play in the paint. Now, of course, when you come up against one of those teams, you got the 6'7" girl, that's a whole different cup of beans. This is where you actually get to see if these girls have learned to step their game out 10 feet, 15 feet with the jump shot, or be able to make a quick move and then go to the hole to get that 6-7 foot person off balance or in foul trouble. You get what I'm saying? Everybody is pretty much playing around in the same positions. When the talent starts to rise, you have to speak on it. You have to give them their props. And with that formula right now, Caitlyn Clark is on a burn tear. She should get some awards for this year, Rookie of the Year and all kind of stuff. I'll give her that. Next year is going to be pivotal for her because she'll be in the league. People will know what she can do. They'll know what they expect from her. We'll see who worked and who didn't, who stepped their game up. See if she's averaging the same thing, if they're able to take her off any of her stats by 1 or 2. See what teams are actually able to step up and cause Caitlyn Clark problems. And I'm talking next year. I'm not talking this year because like in every sport, when there's a phenomenal rookie, I mean one that really can get it, they go out there and surprise everybody. But the next year is the year that really shows what they made of. Can they keep it going? Do they run into a wall? They come back even stronger? These are the things that we have to look for all of these rookies coming up next year.
Oh yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. And all these basketball players we've seen, there's always been that one coach who was able to put together some type of defensive schemes to definitely slow down a player. You definitely right. Um, and now let me ask you, like, what type of defensive style do you think would be one to slow down Caitlyn? Because mind you, this girl, she could pass, she could penetrate the lane, she could definitely shoot it out from the three. Like, what type of defensive style you think would be able to really impact her negatively?
Tonight, the perfect defense showed us, it showed up with Minnesota. The way Minnesota played ball tonight, they when they start moving their feet, stand in front of the ball, stand down low in defensive ready position when they were on the ball, switching on time, not being slow on the switch, making sure that they challenge the ball. Look, when you're going up to challenge the ball, you're not trying to block every shot. Get that out your mind. Your job is to make the shooter do his job, and that's to make the shot. And how do you make it hard on him? On her, by stretching your body up tall when they're going up. If you leave your feet, go straight up and down. And these girls was doing that tonight. When Caitlyn went to the hole a few times, they did not reach down at the ball trying to take it from her, which would bring them into foul trouble. They put those hands up big, got strong, and didn't let her bully them or bounce them. So when she went up, she had to jump up into those outstretched hands, which ended up being blocked on a couple of passes and taken away. So that's the kind of defense that would cause her problems. But in order for a coach to get that, everybody on the team has to buy into it. You can't just have one player out there killing themselves and everybody else is slipping, letting the back door open up. Because when that's happening, that's when you see Caitlyn Clark hitting those girls for the back door, running off the screen, being able to step back and take a shot. These young ladies tonight, they either fought through the screen or stepped over the screen. They did not get caught going under the screen and making missed decisions, especially when the second half started. They were getting it together in the first half, but the second half is the defense that you would see that will cause Caitlyn Clark and Indiana problems.
And that's why I was so anxious to see this game, because it's only two teams that got the enough defense to possibly slow down Caitlyn. Tonight it was the Lynx, and I think the Liberty, they got a good enough defense too. We'd have to see. But yeah, this is if I had to say, this is the most complete team in the league. As far
Minnesota?
as Minnesota, and their leader is the second best player in the league, Nafisa Collier, and
I like Collier.
Yeah, that's my player, bro. That's my player.
Now, you I give you kudos on saying that they're a pretty complete team, because mentioning that, as strong as they played defense in the second half, it was times that Indiana still got spurts where they were able to get points. What was able to offset that was Minnesota, Courier, and company were able to answer back. Now, if they were just running up and down the court back and forth, not playing the defense that they were playing tonight, and they got into that kind of situation, I think they'd have got blew out, because Indiana is such a much better shooting team. And when they're getting shots that's uncontested, you're raising the percentage of them making that shot. But when you're giving them contested shots in the paint, contested shots on the three-pointers, contested shots on layups, contested shots on 10-footers, that changes the whole game. When you're contesting their passes, when they're trying to pass and you're giving them a wall to pass through where they got to look over and look around, you're giving that much of a chance for them to make a missed pass and get it picked off or throw it out of bounds. So the defense we saw tonight from Minnesota is the defense that teams need to play in order to take Indiana down. It's not to shut down Caitlyn Clark. It's to shut down the whole team, because we notice when if you end up shutting down Caitlyn Clark, Indiana, the Fever has other players that are dynamic. Williams being one of them. That's a hell of a go-to to come off the bench. You know what I'm saying? You got other ladies that's on that team that can score from different spots on the court, that can be just as dynamic, that can get other players easy shots that can score themselves. So defense has to be played from position 1 to position 5, and coach has to be over there always consistently thinking of how to make sure his girls are in the best position to execute the game plan so they can get the win.
Yep, and to me, if it comes to a point to where you slow down Caitlyn or she's even struggling, it comes down to Kelsey Mitchell. Is Kelsey going to revert to that old habits of being a ball hog and just figuring, all right, let me make something happen? Or is she going to make sure that she moves the ball and gets the rest of the team involved as well? Because, the rest of the team, like Lexi Hull, knockdown shooter, Alyssa Smith, not really going to create her own offense, but, she could definitely score. Leah Boston, she got to get the ball in the paint. You got to get the ball to her in the right position. They can still be effective. Like I said, if Kelsey Mitchell going to put her head down and say, all right, let me go Westbrook style, then yeah, that team is done with. But tonight, look, the first half, I said, all right, Minnesota, they can't slow them down defensively, so they just got to try to go, offense for offense with them in a shootout. But then once they got the offense going, they was also able to slow them down defensively. I was like, oh, okay. So, yeah, tonight, I would have to go back and look more at some of the adjustments made, but I would say Minnesota also outcoached Indiana.
Well, Minnesota didn't score until 7 minutes and 42 seconds in the first half. That's how much time it went out. Now, you would think that Indiana would have been blowing them out, but Minnesota, even though they weren't scoring, they were making the shots for Indiana kind of difficult. They were playing defense throughout. They just were getting their legs up under them. I think once the second half kicked in, they had got their legs up under them. They were moving around. They had got comfortable. They were able to play defense. Mitchell, not Mitchell, who was it? McBride. McBride was doing good, from the 3-point shot. She's a threat. And they caused Indiana not to only exert energy trying to run their offense, but they also made them have to play defense. They made them, they met Indiana on both parts of the game. They met them on the offensive part of the game, and they met them on the defensive part of the game. And they tonight proved that they were better equipped for it. They were better equipped. When they made the stops, they excuse me. When they made the stops, they capitalized on offense. They made sure they got baskets off of it. They didn't leave too many opportunities out there for Indiana to make a comeback. So if they end up facing each other in the playoffs some kind of way, man, that's going to be a heck of a series. And if nobody is going to be willing to match the way they play, because they pretty much play like Indiana. Indiana just has to be more on the flow. If you get to slipping on defense with Indiana, you really get to see your bust open like the Warriors can do, or back in the day Warriors with Steph, Clay, and what's his name, Mr. Kick You Man. But I think Minnesota can surprise a lot of teams if they don't play defense. Minnesota has some nice shooters and weapons on that team that can do the same thing Indiana does.
That's an interesting series. If they had a series, that is an interesting series. But now I'm just over here thinking like, man, this Indiana team came a long way. I mean, they lost like the first 5 games of the season. They was like 2-13 at the beginning of the season. So where they've come now, and even though there's a few teams like the Seattle Storm and the Connecticut Sun that have better records than them, I'm confident that they could beat both those teams in the series right now. So, man, this team has come a long way.
Well, the beauty about the way it's set up, every game is in their season is pretty pivotal. the whole season counts. You know what I mean? In the other leagues, it's ways that you can manipulate. You win a certain amount of games because you're in a certain area. You a shoe in. You know what I mean? But with this, you got to win out. You got to win out. Period. Right now, they started off losing, but then they turn around and start kicking everybody's butt, and everybody who was winning start giving up games. Next thing you know, they in a perfect position. They done fought their way back into the playoffs, and you said they moved up from 7 to 6. Man, their season is still going in a great direction, even with the loss tonight. But how long before the playoffs kick off? I'm still learning everything, bro. So bear with me. But as you see, I did learn some names. I do got some names and some numbers under my belt now.
Oh no, yeah, you got it. So the season ends September 19th.
4 days after my birthday.
Okay.
It's playoff time. But you can see that they are starting, the teams that are trying to make a push, that has a chance to make a push. I'm looking to see them really play up to that part. Like tonight, the Sky, I can't lie, they started off slow and lethargic a little bit. Kind of moving a little fast, but when they keyed in, when they finally keyed in and was finally able to take the lead, they busted open too. They went on and got a nice lead and got it comfortable where they can go ahead and cruise to a win. That's a confidence builder. And the fact that they got Kennedy back, man, that's really something. That Kennedy girl is a breath of fresh air. You were right when you told me that she was their energy, they engine. She is the one that really makes them go. Yes, I get Angel and the rest of those girls all they props, but Kennedy came in and made their team look totally different from what their team looked like when they played against Indiana. And who knows?
Now,
I was just gonna say, who knows? The game might have looked a little different if Kennedy hadn't been there when they played the Fever.
Well, I will say this, because like you said, every game counts right now. I believe Kennedy would have given them a good chance to win one of these games, but we gotta look at it like this. Over those 4 games, over like the last week plus or so, the Chicago Sky, they had to play against the Aces, so they had to play up against Asia Wilson. They had to play against the Minnesota Lynx, Nafisa Collier. They had to play against the Indiana Fever. So, they ain't had no easy schedule over these last few week or so. They've been playing some tough teams. Now tonight, they were able to, they played against the Sparks, who is the worst record in the W. They got the win over them. So, and then they got, like you said, they got Kennedy back. So that worked in their favor. One thing I didn't like tonight in that Chicago Sky game was the second half. And this is just coaching. This is what people be having a problem with Teresa Teaspoon. In that second half, the third quarter, the starters played the whole third quarter. Now, mind you, they was up by like 14 or 15. So you definitely could have got some subs in between that. And then, your main players, Angel and them, they played until the 4 minutes remaining in the fourth. Dude, you can't be really, running your players into the ground like that, because
I get what you're saying.
Cover.
I get what you're saying. This could come back to bite them in the playoffs, especially in a hard series. So they can start getting tired, injury prone. When you're tired, you get hurt. You start half-assing. You start making mistakes. You just start doing it. Yeah, I can see where people can be complaining, saying, why don't she use the bench in a feasible time where the bench can get out there, you're not asking them to go out there and make the lead bigger. What you are asking them to do is maintain the lead and maintain the game while your while your starters rest up. And I believe she has the talent on the bench to be able to do that, because I've seen other girls come in there and still be able to hold it down. So, yeah, it could be a mistake that the coach is making. We'll see what it does to them once the playoffs start and how that works out. But, I'm going to keep my eye on that and see how it affects them later down the line. Especially, has she been using them like that the whole year?
She pretty much for the most part, yeah. She's had just some just like some bad minutes management of the players, mostly.
Well, so far it hasn't bitten her yet. Lucky for her, knock on wood. Not that it comes back to bite her. I hope not, because I would love to see these rookies that's been touted so much and talked about so much. I really want to see what their playoff runs look like. I want to see how they react if pressure is put on them, where their team look like they backs against the wall. Not so much that they just lose the series, but I want to see what they can do if they lose a game throughout the playoffs, how they bounce back. You know what I'm saying? What do they learn from playing against the girls back to back to back, not spread out throughout the season? I'm just excited to see how it turns out. Really. Once again, Caitlyn Clark, Rookie of the Year. But as far as player of the year, I'm still riding with Asia on that, man. Still riding with Asia on that. If anybody should be getting talked about, got to be the girl they made a statue for. They made a statue for her, man.
Hey, I'm so proud to be able to say my player about 2 weeks ago. The Lynx, they played Asia and the Aces 2 times in a row, back to back. In both of those games, Nafisa, Asia played good, but Nafisa just outplayed her a little bit better. Got the best of her, and they won both of those games. I'm proud for her to say that, because Asia been tripping. Asia been out tripping. She tripping on anything.
She just doing a thing, man.
Yeah, she out here tripping hard. What was it like Sunday, I think? The other day.
What happened?
Sometime within this week, after our last show, in between
Friday
and today, the Asia and them, they played against the Sky again on one of these days. And the first half, it was basically her versus Angel. She was getting the better of Angel, clearly on the offensive end. So she was winning that battle. And then in the second half, instead of Angel Reese guarding Asia, they put Camila Cardoso on her. Man, Asia started whipping her ass. That was an ass whipping, MZ.
Hey, when you go out there and you playing against the best, it shows. You know what I'm saying? She don't have to talk about it. She just go out there and work whoever you put out there. And Angel wasn't able to handle it, so they changed it up to see what the big body could do. If I was Angel, I'd have been like, you know what, coach, I know I'm struggling, but I'm finna deal with old Asia. I ain't finna let her just keep doing me like this. That's when you accept that challenge and try to shut it down. That's where you get to learn. That's where you get into the fire and you start realizing, okay, she finna make this move right here. What do I do? You start seeing that. You got to pick that stuff up. Don't let somebody else go out there and get that lesson. That's your lesson. That's how you get better. That's how you figure out how to go out there and make Asia turn over the ball or make Asia miss an easy shot or make Asia do something crazy, but she end up causing herself to hurt the team on that play. That's where you step your game up. Yeah, she might tear your ass up a little bit because you're learning. But learn that lesson. That's what I say. That's what I say.
Yeah, that game, it really showed the difference in coordination and footwork and just fluidity between Asia and Angel, because they're both about like the same size, but it's just clear like one has a whole bunch of offensive moves where the other one has none. It was
You
like
talking about a two-time world? You were talking about two-time MVP, man.
yeah, yeah.
Come on now, you talking about not one time but two times, two-time MVP. That means I'm out here. I'm better than all y'all. 2 years times, two times. I got the trophy to prove it. On my not so good day, you girls can't do what I do. That's how she feel. Ain't you supposed to have been out there all up in her grill, all on her back? You shooting, I'm in your face. You move, you go to the left, I'm to the left. If you shake right and move back left, I already know you're gonna do that. So I ain't even coming over there, but I'm gonna open up a little bit just to make sure if you do decide to move, I can make my move on the defensive stance. You know what I'm saying? Come on, Andrew. Take that challenge. But I understand Coach changed it up trying to do something to get the win. But and to speak on that, you were saying that they haven't had an easy schedule coming toward the end of the season. And from what I'm understanding, each one of their losses were close losses, which means they playing these good teams to the wire, which has to be a plus. Now, you doing this by working your players extra hard, keeping them in the game longer than most people would like to see the stars out there. But on the same note, she could look at it and say, yeah, we just lost to this team. Buzzer beater, stuff like that.
Yeah. Besides that one game we watched, that Fever versus Sky game, they've done a lot better. And that's what I want to acknowledge too. Ever since that game, Angel been playing better. Like her like it's been like 3 games since she's played. She been playing better. Like I said, even though she lost to Nafisa and the Lynx, she lost to Asia Wilson and the Aces. She did it better in those games. Like, just I don't know, she just played better. It was clear.
I'm thinking maybe the game is about to slow down for her. And if the game slows down for her and she ends up being able to revert to that college player, she brings that up to the W. Oh, she's gonna be hell to deal with. I still want to see her stretch her game out a little bit where she can hit jumpers more consistently. But if she slows down, because that game against Indiana, she was playing at such a pace that I just felt like she was playing too fast and she was hurting herself in the paint. But tonight she did seem to be a lot more in control. It looked like she slowed down where she can see when she made her move where the defense was and what they were doing, instead of just making a move and going up and the defense being right there. Tonight she played a much more controlled game, and kudos to her on that. That's growth, in my opinion. That's growth. And if the game is slowing down for her, she's about to step her game up. That's my opinion. Look for it to happen.
Yeah. Now, I know you heard that she has this podcast that she started. So I guess she had her first show, and I seen a clip saying how she wants to become. I'm sorry.
A stretch forward. The name of her podcast is Unapologetically Angel or something.
Yes.
Yeah, I heard about it. Haven't seen it, but I did hear that she wants to be a stretch 4 when it's all said and done.
Yes.
And if she really, that plays into what we were talking about when we were critiquing her last week, when we were saying we'll see if she's serious about what it is she's trying to do, because we'll start seeing the things that she works on in the off season. We'll start seeing it come up in her game, and we start speaking about who she should go and talk to or try to work with. But then I realized that these girls aren't giants. The names that we were naming for her to learn from, I think now I take that back and I will look at more players that are like big guards. You know what I'm saying? Guards that would play sometime with their back to the basket when they went up against a guard that was a little smaller than them. I would reach out to people like Tracy McGrady. He controlled the ball. I would find out what Penny Hardaway is. See if he still has some teaching moments. I would look for people like that had skills. I wouldn't go send them to Shaq and the big boys like that, because when you realize what sizes they're playing with, you think about what arsenal you want to put on them. And if she's trying to stretch out from the paint, then those are the guys I think she should work with.
Yeah, respectfully, she's trying to be a similar type of style player as a Asia Wilson, but respectfully. You know, and now my thing is, I don't know how far she could go with being like a stretch player, because like I look at her sometimes, especially like when she's running up the court, she's still like kind of clumsy, and I don't know how much more coordinated she could be, but you know, somewhere that there's some type of room for her to grow, offensively. I just don't know how much of a quote unquote stretch for she could become.
Well, one, I think she could become a good stretch four. I think she could end up turning into a great stretch four. The clumsiness, you could work that out. Coordination drills come to mind right away. She work on coordination drills. I mean, work on them real hard. Some where she's running at she's going at a trot, controlling the ball in and out of cones, stopping and going, driving to the basket, stopping at the paint, pulling back out, things like that. I think that will help her tremendously, and try to do it in a certain amount of time. That would work on her clumsiness and everything like that. She also, I would say, start getting up at least 1,000 shots after practice. 1,000 shots from different points on the floor. And I mean 1,000 shots, make 1,000. So you're going to shoot up a lot more, but make 1,000 shots.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Definitely just, get everything up on offense. That's how you become more fluid. I know what you meant, where you could teach more coordination. You could definitely become more coordinated. And she has a lot of room to grow right there. So it's a lot where she could improve.
Yeah, because I did notice a couple of times she got the ball, and I was saying to myself, man, take that shot, because they left her open as if to say, if you can make it, make it. You know, and that's the part of the game where I say you lose some of you're not a threat to them right there. They're not worried about you driving right now because they know they can collapse. So they're saying, take the shot. You don't really have anybody to pass it to because everybody's covered. You actually had to wait for somebody to break through their coverage for you to give up the ball. Those are the times that I'm saying that elbow jump shot right there, that you start sinking that on a regular, that now they can't leave you open right there when you get the ball. If you up there at the 3-point line and you've been practicing, you've been knocking those down, they can't leave you right there by yourself anymore. They got to come and respect that. So I saw that tonight a couple of times where Angel had the ball, but the defense kind of lagged on her, like, yeah, go ahead, we ain't worried about it.
Yeah. Because, see, like right now, I mean, it's no secret. Right now, she can't catch the ball and put the ball on the ground to, make any type of offense unless she, you somehow, some way let her just get past you. But, like we saying, you could definitely develop that type of stuff no matter how uncoordinated you are in the W. You could definitely develop that type of stuff. You can also develop a shot. And then once you put all that stuff together, it's about using it. Then you got more than one way to attack your opponent.
That's what makes you a threat. The more threats you are, the more defense a team has to pay you respect. If you can hit shots, okay, we know we can hit shots. But like you see some players, You know, they go to a spot, they catch the ball, bam. If you get there too late, you know it's over with. So some teams, they figure out, okay, this dude can only do that, or this girl can only do that. So close out on them. Well, you close out on them, or you jump out there and they end up putting the ball down and going to another spot closer to the basket, but y'all don't react and they score that. Now you find out that, okay, we got to worry about him shooting from that corner three, and we got to worry about him putting the ball down and moving into the paint, taking the shot. Now you start contesting that shot and you find out that he can pass or she can pass to an open person that y'all left because y'all decided to step up to that person. This is what practicing and working on different areas of your game causes. This is how you make the defense have to respect you. This is where you make another coach have to plan for you when you step out on the court, whether you a person is coming off the bench or you a starter. You have to always have something new in your game to go to. Once they catch on to that, you have to have a chain of moves that you can go to, because some defensive players, I won't say defensive players, some players are so well adapted, so locked in till they learn some of your stuff, that he does this and then he does this and then she does that. If she goes between the legs twice, she gonna cut right and then go straight to the left and pull up. Things like that. That I would pick up on when I played basketball and seeing guys on the court. I'll start learning certain moves. If a guy dribbled Deli over, I can't say his last name, but Deli, he get the ball with his back to the basket. If he dribbled left, he was going for surely shake left and spin right and shoot his jumper off the backboard, right-handed. That was his move. If he was on the right side of the basket, he would fake right and dribble 2 steps left and go to the paint and shoot an over hook. That's just what he would do. So you realize those are the moves that he's going to go to. You know how to step him off. You know, if he fake, you open up a little bit just to make sure he ain't going to go to the basket, but you already pre-prepared to know to step left because he going to the middle of the lane to shoot that little right-hander. You already there and you take a jump up, you going to block that shit. Just it is what it is. Because he ain't showed you that he gonna go up and under. He ain't never showed that. If he pulled that out, then he just pulled something out on you and he got you. But 9 times out of 10, if he ain't never showed it, what's to show it now? So practice on. I think she got a big ceiling. Thinking of Angel Reese, I commend her for saying it before it's all said and done. She want to be a stretch 4. I believe she can pull it off, and I believe she can do it. If she concentrates, if she really concentrates, because you think that she's a little clumsy, I think if she works on some coordination drills, and I mean with the ball, all of them with the ball, that way her handling becomes something to contend with too when she's in the open court and when she's trying to help her fellow teammates get open shots. I just hope that she can make the passes when she see wide open people. She can put it in where she want to. She got to learn how to make certain passes. All passes can't be the same. Passes are different. You got to bounce pass for a reason. You got to chest pass for a reason. You got to wrap around pass for a reason. All of them serve a certain purpose, and they all work best at a certain time.
Yeah, and you know, when you develop court vision, you know, that's what makes you a good passer. You know, developing court vision and also just chemistry with your players, knowing what they're going to do. So yeah, maybe she could, maybe she'll develop that as well.
Yeah, it all comes one. How many times the pieces change on your team, and I feel this for any team. When starter pieces change on your team a lot, it's hard to get that feel for how well everybody can do, because one of the pieces keep changing. But when the team is pretty much cored in and they get locked in pretty good with the most basic, with the core players, if it's 2 or 3 of them, most of the time it's at least 3 players on the team, and the other 2 guys are pretty much interchangeable because their jobs of what they do is so simple. And that's not to diminish that player in that spot. Is just saying that most of the time you have plays drawn up for your big three. That because most teams that I played on, you had your number one scorer, your number two scorer, then your third option. You rarely went to a fourth and fifth option. You see what I'm saying?
Yep. Yeah, I think last time I was on this show, I was being like critical of her potential, and then it's like even in 2 games when I see her lose, it was just the effort that I seen, and I was like, she got some potential and she's actually playing good. And I still feel like there's some potential for. She might not be the type of swing forward that I'm thinking about, but like I said, it's just probably you could fit her type of game somewhere within the W for sure and be very impactful.
Well, when you think about it, I think it could have been a fact of her trying too hard against Indiana. It's Caitlyn Clark. It's a lot talking about it. Yeah, the girls are playing it down like they should, but as a true competitor, you want to go out here and do your thing all the time, especially if you compete on the basketball court or football or whatever sport it is. If you at the high level, which I think Angel Reese is, a rookie with a lot of shine on her, a lot of shine, and you want to go out there and make a mark against. Right now, this young lady, Caitlyn Clark, rookie of the year. That's something that Angel Reese, I'm like, sure, I know that's something that you wanted. This girl here is being named that already. I want to go out here and show that I'm Angel Reese. And maybe I think she might have just been moving a little too fast, because that's what I was saying about her when we were critical about her the other week. I was saying that I felt like she was moving too fast in the paint. If she slowed down, I think she could score, and it would be a little easier for her. I said that she should get a little stronger, but tonight she even went and tried to bang a little bit and showed that she was strong. So, yeah, I say that, we still could be critical of all of them, but I can say that she's stepping her game up. You can see the difference between Indiana and LA. And the games in between.
Yeah, definitely. Now, this young lady, Kennedy Carter, who you had a chance to see tonight.
Killer Kennedy.
Yeah. Young Kennedy. You come with that killer instinct. Believe it or not, she was on the Sparks roster last year. That's who she played for last year. And prior to that, she played her first 2 years in the league in Atlanta. Then she went to the Sparks for 1 year, and now she's on the Sky. So as quality as you've seen her tonight, it was surprising that she's been bounced around the league, 3 times already.
Well, a baller game goes with them wherever they get transferred from. Now, some people could allude to it and say, is she a problem because she got traded? But then you have to ask, what exactly did they get for her when they let her go? How valuable was the trade that they made for her? Those are all the things that I would say look at before you make any judgment call on her, because we could see that she's a baller. So she has that. So you're looking at it to say, what was the trades about? What did the teams get for her? Why did they trade for her? Well, I wouldn't say why did I would say I would look at what they got for her. What did Atlanta get for her? What did the Sparks get? I mean, what did who did you say? Atlanta?
Yeah, the Sparks and Dream.
And what did the Sparks get for her? What did the Dream get for her? How did she end up with Chicago? What did Chicago give up to get her?
From what I've read, and to me, this is a good thing. She's one of those players that she might get upset with the way the team is being run, and she feel like the effort is not being put into the team getting better. Each individual player put it in that effort. So, you got these types of players that they get labeled as, locker room problem childs. But it's like, no, they just being misunderstood. That's the player that's showing up to practice early, running a Sunday practice, trying to get better. And he upset because y'all not on the same page.
Oh, shoot. You want that in your locker room. Well, for me, being on the team, I would love that in my locker room. Somebody that's holding the rest of the players accountable for not working hard. Hey, I'm in here working hard, and you are good, and you're not working as hard as me, so you could be great. What's wrong with you? I can see how you don't want to play for a team like that. You in the locker room, and you going to work, and you working hard, and everybody around you bullshitting, except for a couple of other people that's working hard, and they not getting in the game because of their name or whatever. So if that's why she getting traded, maybe going to Teaspoon might and the Sky might be a great spot for her. Maybe that'll be infectious to the rest of the players on that team, where everybody will start working just as hard as her. If she's making an example where she's outworking everyone, then yeah, that's something that's to be looked at as a positive and not a negative.
Yep, and that type of player, when they not afraid to even call out the face of that franchise, that's when they get labeled a problem, a locker room headache, and all that stuff.
Well, if you could call out the star, just do it in private. Do it behind the closed doors of practice. Do it in practice. You know what I'm saying? Nobody knew Michael Jordan slapped Steve Kerr until they told the story. I thought it was bull because I was like, dang, Mike, for real? Hearing a lot of that stuff made me look at my like, damn, dude, you messing up the image of yourself with these stories you're telling. But at the same time, not hitting nobody. You know what I'm saying? Not slapping nobody. I heard Charles Oakley used to slap. Charles Oakley used to slap people in the game. You know what I'm saying? But I heard the story of why Tree Rollins was doing it, and he said, the words was he was taking it take their manhood. You slap a dude and he don't do that not through the rest of the game. He worried about you and what you might do. Because I see that's a good strategy. But with old girl, if she's working hard, what's her name?
Kennedy.
If Kennedy is that type of player that's working hard and nobody is coming to the forefront saying that she's not working hard, it might be one thing to say, oh, she's a problem in the locker room because she called out the star. But what she said was the star ain't working hard. Is that true?
Yep, good question. But all I know is, just looking at Kennedy mentality, you could tell like the amount of passion she played with and toughness. That's the type of player you could work with on your team. If you're a coach, you know what you're doing, you could work with that type of attitude.
You know who usually they say that player is? That's that player that they say that's the heart and soul of the team. That's the player that go out there and get in the other players' faces.
Yeah,
that's that player. That's the one that you don't go looking for that player. That player just shows up. And who knows? Her landing in the Sky in Chicago might be the perfect fit for her with those two rookies and the rest of that team. That might be just what they need. Now, if coach can come up with some good schemes and game plans, the Sky could be something terrible, especially if they let Kennedy's attitude infect them and they get the same attitude. We're a team that works hard. We're a team that goes hard all the time in practice and on the court in the game. Salute to Moody Treyweather joining us at 12:18. That's what you're looking for. If they pick up the way she is, then man, I look for them to be real good. But that's just one thing of it. Like I said, we'll have to look at it a little deeper, hyphy, and see what she was traded for from the other two teams before we just go ahead and say, hey, maybe this could be the reason. But for right now, if it's just because she calling out some people because they're not working hard, bar it, she doing it publicly. As long as you don't do it publicly, I'm cool with it. Call them out in the locker room, within the organization. Let it be within the organization. If it gets out, it's because the spokesperson of the organization put it out. But as far as the team go and coach, hey, we handle stuff between us in the locker room and in the practice gym. I don't give a damn that you the name of the court. Right now, you playing like you playing soft. You ain't putting it in like you supposed to. Who you think you are? I think I'm the person that's on your team that's trying to win like you. It's my job to push you. Let's get it.
Yeah. So that's Kennedy. Now you might. You know what? Damn, and I mentioned this the other day. Kennedy had got like a bad rep this year because she's the one who had hit Caitlyn Clark with that hard ass push. And don't get me wrong, that push was definitely uncalled for. But it's like that one play don't totally define a player, and there's nothing that you can't come back from.
Exactly, because we've seen many plays like that take place in the NBA, and that's not the first play that is taking place in the W. You know what I'm saying? We've seen that take place in the W a lot of times. Players do get frustrated with themselves, and she did what she did. She made a mistake, and, because it went against her team when she did it. But they didn't have to reel her in after that. She wasn't out of control the rest of the game. She was able to reel herself back in and continue to play well as she was playing.
Man, see, I don't find nothing wrong with it. It was just funny because, like, she said, "Bitch," and then she went and hit her like that. And, like, it make you wonder, like, did Caitlyn say something to her? Maybe like, pre-game or something. And, like, I don't know, but the way she did it was funny.
Okay, let's rewind. Caitlyn at the time was balling, right?
Yeah,
she was going off, and Caitlyn was balling in college. She was going off in college, right?
Yeah.
We probably didn't hear the stories, but I bet Caitlyn be out there talking trash. And she probably was, she probably talked some trash in the paint. You don't know. Caitlyn probably shoot little bowls or stuff like that in the midst of contact. We really don't know. But I'll say that she be talking some good trash. I ain't going to say that she be taking shots. I'll say that she was out there busting their ass. And she was letting it be known that y'all can't mess with me right now. Look at the scoreboard. And then it just happened right off of a turnover, I'm going to say that she probably said something real fly. And Kennedy took offense of it and said, okay, take this.
Man, I'm saying even if that's not the case and Caitlyn is completely innocent, if you got to do that just to go even like try to slow down the tempo or throw off this player, do what you got to do.
I'm not saying that she can't do it because, like I said, it's been done plenty of times. Sometimes you would dish out a hard foul to see if you can throw them off their game.
Yeah, rile up a player. Yeah,
or rattle them. Sometimes it make a player get up and say, "Oh, that's how you feel." Okay, I'm finna start dropping them on you like nothing. I'm really finna tear your ass up. Now you got a problem. And you got some players that get up and be like, damn, what can hit me like that? Now every time they get ready to go left and they know you over there in that area, they kind of thinking about it. They shot is off, they pass it, they passing early, they shooting early, stuff like that. Caitlyn was the latter of the previous. She was the one that got up and say, oh, that's how we balling. So take some of this. I'm gonna go ahead and dish this real easy and let it go. There you go, 2 points. Oh, there you go, 2 points. Step back, 3-pointer. That's how she answered. Caitlyn Clark ain't no punk, man. People trying to coddle her, and they don't need to. Caitlyn Clark is a hard player. It's not like she just started playing basketball when she got to the W. She played against some of these girls in college. She know what the game consists of. And she doing her thing. So, she took the foul. She got up. Nothing. No, she wasn't hurt. I don't think it was no malice in it. I think, she just got frustrated and did what she did. I'm trying to throw this girl off her game, because right now we struggling. So
yeah, that's all it is.
I don't hold it against her. I agree with you. I don't hold it against her at all.
Yeah,
but Caitlyn is proven to be a tough cookie. No doubt about that. Only thing that I've seen throw her off her game so far is the Minnesota team tonight, when they stepped their defense up and they challenged every pass and every shot. That's the only time I've seen her thrown off her game like that, as of late, since they've been on their winning streak.
Hell yeah. I like the adjustment they made, man. That second half, how they controlled that game, that second half. That's what I said. I would like to just go watch that game again, catch all the coaching adjustments. But tonight's game was so interesting, because if the playoffs started right now, that's who would be playing each other. The Lynx number 3 seed playing against the number 6 Indiana Fever.
Ooh, man, I'm so excited. Who else is it? Who's number 1 and number 2?
Okay, number 1 is the New York Liberty.
Who is that now?
And they would go. That's who would be playing in Chicago Sky.
Who they star?
Well, they got 2 stars. It's like pretty much equal. They got this girl Sabrina Ionescu. That's the one who she be like she was like shooting alongside Steph Curry at the NBA All-Star stuff. Sabrina Ionescu. Okay,
I'm looking for a Bunyawe or something.
Yeah, Ionescu. Yeah. And this other girl, this the girl who won the MVP of the season last year, Brianna Stewart.
So they at number 2.
No, they number 1.
Oh, they number 1. So who's number 2?
W. Oh, number 2 would be the Connecticut Sun.
And who they touting as they power players?
They player they like. That's like a team. They really don't got like that one like super duper standout star to say. They just, I don't know, they just happen to have like a good record for the most part.
They like the Detroit Pistons with Chauncey Billups and Ben Wallace. Rasheed Wallace.
Yeah, kind of so, because I can't say they got like any like top 10 player on a team or anything like that.
Okay, so they a pretty evened out team.
Yeah, for the most part.
Talented in every position and just work hard. Do they use their bench? Do they have a complimentary bench?
Yeah, they do, yeah. They do got a bench. I will give them that. They do got a bench.
Okay, so I'm going to say, make sure we keep number 2 in your mind high for deep in the playoffs.
Yeah, and now the thing that I'm not excited about with them is they would play against the Phoenix Mercury, and the Phoenix Mercury that's a team who has Brittany Griner and Diana Taurasi, but they not a team that's like going anywhere right now. They actually got a losing record.
Yeah, Brittany is older now, so she's not moving as fluent as she used to. But she's still a threat. Let me not take away from 6'9". She's still a threat. She still moves fluent enough. I actually like her game. And when she was at the top of her game, I understand that she was pretty much problem. She should have been just totally dominant at 6'9". And Taurasi, Taurasi gonna be Taurasi, but Taurasi ain't no spring chicken either. You know what I'm saying? So if they bring defense like Minnesota did to Indiana, if they bring that kind of tenacity, they could make a hard-fought game with them, where I believe they could tire out the older players and end up getting victories in that series, if that was to roll out.
Yeah,
don't get injuries to anybody.
Yeah, Griner, like she could still play. I just feel like I don't feel like it's her being like on a decline. So I just feel like this year, like she did have some injuries this year, and on top of that, she even know like they team ain't going nowhere this year. So like I just feel like it ain't been the effort that she could show.
Well, who knows? The playoffs might wake that up. We might see a rejuvenated Brittany. And wouldn't that be something to see? These rookies would have something to run up against.
And
it should
then,
be a good mix, man.
Yeah, and then this one matchup, it would be the Las Vegas Aces versus Seattle Storm.
The Aces.
That's
I hear
number 4 and
they
5
hot right now.
That would be a the Storm. They doing okay. Number 5
Go ahead,
seed. Yeah, they doing okay.
Shoot, okay is not the word. I'm just like, man, the playoffs are right here, Hyphy. They right here. The girls are playing like they ready. I got this energy about it that I just can't contain myself.
It's like right there. You feel me?
Yeah, because it's all getting ready. It's getting ready to unfold and culminate. The playoffs are here. What are the rookies? What do you expect from them and their teams, or from them their teams and themselves? You know, how are their teams going to mesh together, pull it together, and rally with these rookies and go deep in the playoffs? Who's going to come out on top? Who's going to hoist up the championship trophy of the W for 2024? You know what I'm saying? You can't look past Asia because she's a threat. Her team is a threat. It's not like they just messing around. Or am I tripping?
Well, I'm just being honest with you. Like after what I seen tonight, looking like the Fever most likely got to play the Lynx in the first round. I got the Lynx winning that series.
You think they gonna play? You think they can shoot as well as them?
Man,
I want to compare their offenses first before I go to defense, because the defense is where it's going to make the difference.
Well, yeah, I'll answer that question. We could do that comparison, but my reasoning for what I just said, like I seen them make an adjustment for the whole second half, and the Fever, they couldn't make no adjustments to counter that. So you know them adjustments is hella important. That's what made me stick with what I'm saying.
So you think the Lynx have a better coaching advantage?
Now that's the thing. Even though they made the adjustment tonight, now the Fever, they got a few weeks to plan on that, so they could make an adjustment too.
And that's the thing that we have to look at and look for.
Yeah.
So if the coach for the Fever do her homework, come up with a good game plan, she'll offset whatever it is they're getting ready to face if the playoffs kick off and it's set up the way you think it should be set up.
Yeah. Then it'll come down to, the coaching, who just playing better as a team, all type of stuff.
Who buys into the game plan? That's the most important part. Who buys in and goes all out for the game plan? That's going to be the difference. Talent, that's going to show, but the work, the discipline, the work that was put into the gym, the work of how hard you ran those plays to learn them, the work of how hard you closed out on open shots, how hard you set screens, how hard you ran off the screen, how hard you do the give and go. All those things are gonna come into play once the playoffs kick in. That's the telling times, man. That's why they say the game gets so much better when the playoffs start, because you're that much closer to the trophy. The season is over. It's pretty much drawn out now. What kind of competition you got to go through in order to get to the final piece, the championship. You know who's the player. You know who's all in the field. You look at each team and see who's gonna knock off who. But you just worry about knocking off who you. All you want to do is issue out ass whoopings until you get to the trophy. It don't matter who else is winning. You just got to make sure that you're set to stop whatever it is that they do best to keep them from winning when they play you. And like I said the other day when we were talking, I was speaking about defense is the best part of you winning the championship. Defense is most important because your job is to stop them from making their average. And did Minnesota do that to Indiana? Did they slow down their scoring output? Yes, they did.
Yeah, they definitely did. In the second half, they did.
And did they score more points than they allowed Indiana to score in the second half? Yes, they did. Which caused them to get a victory because they stepped up that defense like that. And to me, if your team could step their defense up like that, and they're confident that they can hit their shots because that's why you got them. They can hit their shots, and they know if we could just hold you within striking distance for a certain amount of time, we know when we strike, you guys ain't got it in you to come back with the same kind of defense that we've been putting on you all night. Because, like I said, Hyphy, they were burning Indiana Fever were burning energy, to get those pretty shots that they were getting off, to get those pretty passes. They were burning energy because the defense was there. But they also had to go down to the other end because if you notice, Minnesota was running the court tonight. They ran the court almost as much as Indiana, if not as much. They were doing their own fast breaks. They girls was getting down court quick. So they made Indiana work on both ends of the court, which in my opinion, that's what really made the difference. That's what showed one team that really works on defense and stuff like that constantly pushing themselves. It shows when it comes down to pivotal times in the game.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Like they beat them in every aspect in that second half, and then they slowed down the game, like you said, got them into foul trouble. And so, when you get in foul trouble, that's slowing down the tempo of the game, where a team like the Fever, they like to just get out and run and get in transition. All that little stuff count.
No, when I was saying that they got in foul trouble, I was talking about Minnesota had got in foul trouble. And they were still, and that's when Indiana should have been able, they should have stepped up and got a little more aggressive going to the hole. Start going to the hole because now you get two chances because you're going to get fouled and you're going to go to the basket and you got a chance for an and one. So they should have got aggressive. Coach should have had them, hey, get aggressive going to the hole. We got 3 minutes. They in foul trouble. They can't give any fouls. They gave up their last foul. Start going to the hole. But they didn't do that. They played right into Minnesota's hands. Minnesota was able to play the kind of defense they needed. And when they did go to the hole, they were disciplined. They stayed out of the I can't remember the name of the half circle, but they stayed out of the space that was automatically a foul and put up good resistance in the paint. All that was key. I think the Fever made a mistake by not getting aggressive once they got the Lynx into foul trouble in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, man. And that was a good game, bro. Like, and I'm just still over here looking at this Fever team. Like, yeah, it's a young team, and boy, they gonna be around for a while. I mean, last year, Aaliyah Boston, last year she was a rookie. They had this other girl I keep mentioning, Lexi Hull. She's only in her fourth year. Kelsey Mitchell, she gonna be around for a while. So I'm like, yeah, they got a nice squad. Like they could definitely build on this team.
I like Leah Boston, man. I like her game. Big Boston. Every time she went up in the paint, I was like, Big Boston scoring in that paint, man. Big Boston going hard.
Yeah, she was an all-star too this year.
Good for her. I like her energy. She got good energy out there on that court.
Yeah.
I thought she was going to get in trouble because she kind of started mouthing off on one of the plays.
Did she get a tech on that foul?
That's what I'm saying. I thought she was going to get in trouble. She did get a tech. I think she got a tech, but I know she was doing a lot of yapping with the referee. And I was like, come on, man, calm down. Don't get in trouble right now. This is not the time for that. Just let it go. Let it go. You're supposed to play through the whistle and not let the whistle affect you in no kind of way. You're supposed to keep playing your game. If the whistle blows, then okay, it's letting you know you need to adjust a little bit.
Yeah, I remember that play. Now, I'm going to do this maybe sometime, later tomorrow, but I need to go get like some in-depth highlights of the Aces versus the Storm because that's the game that was happening at the same time, and I didn't watch that game.
The Ace and the Storm, yeah, I didn't see that game either because I ended up watching the Fever game and the Chicago game. Those are two games that got broadcast for me, so that's what I watched tonight. But I was entertained, and I was impressed by all the teams that played tonight. Even though you look at the Sky and you look at the Spark and say these two teams are, if you look at them just out of glancing at what positions they're in, you say these are the weakest teams right now going into the playoffs. But I believe that because the way the playoffs have been set up and what you do in the season, I believe each team that makes the playoff is dangerous in its own way and in its own right. And if they can get the game to go in the flow that best fits them, it'll always shine for them. Now, as far as I'm concerned, Caitlyn Clark and the Fever have to realize that, hey, we have to know when we're playing against a defensive team that could turn it on at any point of the game. How do we counteract that? We got to be able to come up with defense our own self. And when they step their defense up, that's when your passing game has to come in. You want to less dribble and move the ball without it hitting the ground more, because now you got to make that defense move a lot faster. That's how you beat the defense. You got to start making crisp passes, getting players in the spots they need to be. Y'all got to step it up a little bit. But we start doing the defense, offense, no dribble, moving the ball around the horn like that. That helps with the defense when they try to oppose you by stepping the game up. That's how you match that with the tiresome. I know I explained it just straight out like that for people that don't ball. For the ones that do, they get what I'm saying. You got to counteract what the defense is coming up, because you're gonna have to conserve some energy to be able to continue your run and be able to push through the defensive attacks, because their offense that's on that team, especially with Minnesota, they got an offense that can come out and do some things too. So they're going to have to figure out how to balance out how to deal with teams that's going to come out and be defensively sound throughout the game. Maybe run triple screens, quadruple screens, back doors. You got to come up with you got to throw everything in the sink at them, coach. That's my opinion.
Yeah, and then now just nigga, how that just getting a taste of your own medicine when y'all not the team on the floor that's doing the most cutting and off ball cutting and stuff. Like when a team do that back to y'all, now y'all know how that feel. Now y'all gotta figure out what y'all gonna do.
How do you beat it?
Yeah, how you beat it. Hey, I'm gonna have to send you this clip. Like when you see this clip of this highlight of that Aces and Sun game, this girl Kelsey Plum, she was tripping tonight. She went off for 27.
Ooh.
Yeah, but she did this move. You gonna be like, oh yeah, she cold.
We gonna have to figure out how much of some video we could play to correlate with what we were talking about, so people can see what it is that we're talking about when we breaking it down.
Yeah, YouTube rules is if you're showing like full screen video, you get 6 seconds. But at the same time, if you was like breaking down footage, you could show footage if you just actually like if you on camera, like in a corner, and you're actually breaking down what's being displayed on the screen, you could do that also.
Okay,
that's how it works.
So go ahead and I gotta show up.
Yeah. You would have, you know what I'm saying? Be like in a small corner, PIP.
Okay,
screen.
I ain't tripping right there. I can do that.
Yeah.
So we can bring up some footage so we could actually put it in their face what it is we talking about. We in the fledgling stages of getting the show started, but we gonna grow it up and get it popped off like it need to.
Yeah. And see, like, that's the thing. Like, what I need to start doing, I'm gonna start like just taking more, like organizing more, like notes and stuff. Because, like I said, I watch the games during the week, so it's like so much I didn't forgot about and stuff. But like we definitely watch these Friday night. It's always gonna be some good Friday night games.
Correct.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna go ahead and shut the door right now, Hyphy.
Yeah.
We go tonight, but don't leave out. I want to talk to you in the back.
Oh yeah. Go ahead. So yeah, man. Good night at WNBA, and you know what I'm saying, we'll probably be back next Friday. We're gonna look at the schedule again and come back.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that my Friday should still work out the same. So we're gonna be back. So with that being said, thank you for everybody that joined us. And for those that watched the show after the show, appreciate you. Hit the thumbs up and keep it rolling. We'll holler at you later. Okay, Hyphy.